Hello, and welcome back to Underscore, where we dive into the world of film and television music and celebrate the scores that capture our hearts, or at the very least, get stuck in our heads. I'm your host, Rick Clark, and I'm thrilled you've decided to join me for our second episode. Today, we are venturing into the realm of cutthroat corporate drama and biting family feuds. That's right, we're talking about HBO's smash hit Succession, and more specifically, the album Music from Succession, performed by London Music Works. Now, if you haven't seen Succession, well, first of all, you should probably consider it. It's got everything: money, power, backstabbing, witty insults, and probably the most dysfunctional, rich family this side of the Monopoly board. But more importantly for us, it's got some seriously engaging music thanks to composer Nicholas Breitel. London Music Works has taken these iconic pieces and crafted a performance that stands on its own as a fantastic listening experience. So pour yourself something fancy, settle in, and let's explore how the music of Succession manages to be regal, haunting, and just a tad mischievous, much like the Roy family itself. All right, before we dive headfirst into the album, let's talk a little about Succession. For anyone who's been living off the grid, Succession is a show about the Roys, an ultra-wealthy family at the helm of a colossal media conglomerate. It's a high-stakes dramedy of sorts, blending corporate maneuvering with cringe-inducing family squabbles. The series stands out for its sharp writing, equal parts scathingly funny and painfully awkward. But for us music lovers, the real treat is how Nicholas Breitel's score cuts through all the tension and highlights the show's main themes: power, ambition, loyalty, or lack thereof in some cases. The compositions are as refined as a black tie event, with a creeping unease running through them like someone spiked the champagne. In the show, you'll often hear these piano-driven melodies that weave in and out of orchestral swirls. It's classical, but with a modern, almost hip-hop inspired rhythm and swagger just beneath the surface. Breitel has a knack for using subtle cues that reflect each character's shifting loyalties and precarious positions in the family. And beyond that, it all just sounds so lavish. Like you're sinking into a plush velvet seat in a gilded opera house while people around you argue about who gets to be the next CEO. Now, the album we're focusing on, Music from Succession, performed by London Music Works, brings this refined yet tense sound to life. It pays tribute to Breitel's original compositions, but there's a unique polish that London Music Works brings to these recordings. So let's pop open a metaphorical bottle of fancy champagne and get into the good stuff. So let's zoom in on a few standout tracks on this album. And naturally, we have to start with the Succession main title theme. If you've seen even one episode, you know this theme. It's instantly recognizable. The piano begins with that descending motif, followed by these dramatic orchestral hits that make you feel like you're about to witness a Shakespearean-level betrayal. And with the Roy family, that's usually correct. And then there's Adagio in C minor, which is a total shift in mood. It's slower, more introspective. You can imagine a member of the Roy family locked in their palatial office contemplating their next move. Maybe they're swirling a glass of whiskey, scowling at stock charts. The performance here emphasizes the lonely, moody undertones of a family so powerful, yet so deeply fractured. The Adagio is a fantastic piece to really sink into. It's like reading between the lines of every corporate memo or family argument. Another gem is Rondo in F minor for piano and orchestra. This one has a certain boldness, like a pompous strut down a marble hallway. If the Roys had a family band, this piece might be their showstopper. There's a controlled energy, almost a bravado, which suits the vibe of Succession. Everyone's walking around with their own agenda, trying to appear in total control. Nicholas Britell's approach to Succession's music is fascinating because it interweaves several musical worlds. You've got classical-inspired chords and structures that hint at centuries-old sophistication. After all, these people have more money than some small nations. But you'll also notice these irregular rhythms and unexpected percussive elements that keep us on our toes. There's a subtle sense of modernity, almost a nod to hip-hop influences, in the way the beats occasionally land with a confident swagger. What ties these different elements together is the recurring piano motif, which becomes the signature of the show. It's delicate, like fine china, but also slightly discordant, as if the keys are uncertain where to land next. That tension is at the heart of Succession. Nobody ever feels fully comfortable, no matter how plush the penthouse. The music underscores that notion. You may have billions in the bank, but you're still one bad board meeting away from ruin. London Music Works manages to spotlight these motifs in a way that's both respectful of the original compositions and uniquely their own. Each repetition of a theme is like a new puzzle piece, revealing more layers of the Roys' complicated world. For me, the biggest takeaway is that there's immense depth to be found in a score that on the surface might seem purely classical. Succession's music defies straightforward categorization. It's polished yet gritty, grand yet intimate, funny but also quite dark. It mirrors the show's tonal shifts so perfectly, it's almost a character in its own right, like a silent observer smugly watching the Roys try to outmaneuver each other. And there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into music from Succession, performed by London Music Works. I hope this chat has given you a new appreciation for how a score can both heighten the drama of a show and gently poke fun at it. The next time you hear that opening piano motif, you might find yourself smirking at just how delightfully ridiculous and yet wholly compelling this world of high-stakes corporate maneuvering can be. Remember, if you're curious about the album details or want to snag a copy, check out the release by Silver Screen Records. It's all there, lovingly recorded and just waiting to transport you to the Roy family's gilded, precarious realm. But be warned, once you let that theme worm its way into your brain, you may never skip the intro again. That's it for this episode of Underscore. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Apparently, that's how all good podcasters stay afloat these days. Next time, we'll explore yet another captivating score and see how music can make us laugh, cry, or break out in goosebumps. Until then, this is Rick Clark, signing off. Stay melodic, stay curious, and maybe try not to backstab anyone on your way out.